Be a part of Going In Raw today at patreon.com/Steven Larson. Starting at $1 a month, you can enjoy Going In Raw ad-free, gain access to the daily 30-minute Going In Raw post-show, exclusive merchandise, and so much more. Support Going In Raw today. Click the link in the description.
Boys and girls, this is the Undisputed Era. Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong, and you're listening to Going In Raw, baby.
What's up, it's your girl, Sasha Banks, the legit boss, and you're watching Going In Raw. You like that?
This is Shayna Baszler, and you're watching Going In Raw.
What's up? This is the most must-see WWE superstar of all time and his lovely, gorgeous wife,
Marie.
and you are going in SmackDown Live.
This is the glorious one, Bobby Roode, and you're watching Going In Raw.
Hey guys, this is Charlotte, and you're watching Going In Raw.
What's up? It's the moonwalking, trash talking princess of Staten Island. I want to remind you all that Mela is money, and you're watching Going In Raw.
Hi, this is Shinsuke Nakamura. Shinsuke watching Going In the Raw.
This is the knockout artist, Cassius Ohno, and you're going in Raw.
Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steven Larson, and available wherever fine podcasts are. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and the notify bell next to it if you're watching us on YouTube. If you're listening to us on a podcast app, leave us a rating, review, or comment, or just tell a friend. Or just tell a friend.
Or just tell a friend. A good friend.
A good friend. Even if they don't like wrestling, who cares? Just tell a friend. We're also available on the Patreon at patreon.com/Steven Larson. We got a couple new patrons. We're going to be gone for 4 days. We're not going to be live streaming again until Wednesday, so I want to make sure all these latest patrons get their due in their shout-outs.
Good idea.
$1 a month gets you a shout-out. It goes a long way. It also gets the show ad-free in the audio version with its own RSS feed, and the video version right there on the Patreon wall. If you're tired of all these newfangled ads, Larson, Lewis Griffin, Eogan Barrett, how do you pronounce that name? Eogan?
Yeah, I think so.
Eogan Barrett, El Blanco Noche, which means the White Knight.
Yes.
The Wrestle Cox Collins, the Wrestle Cock Colin K, Ryan Henderson, Return of the Zach, Jordan Hartley, Jose Nava III, Shell Bell, and Rob Law. All new patrons. Thank you very much.
Wait, did you say Rob Law?
Rob Law. I wonder if he has a law blog.
Yeah, the Rob Law blog.
Exactly. Anyways. This is Going In Rawview. We're bringing it back on a monthly basis.
Yes.
We had a very fun, lively watch party. It was our very first watch party where we took the concept of pay-per-view watch party.
Just do it for old pay-per-views.
We just did it for an old pay-per-views.
New ones.
So this is how it's going to go from now on.
Yeah, once a month we'll do them.
Once a month. We'll put up 3 possible pay-per-views for our $10 and up, $10 per month and up patrons to vote on. And then we will go ahead and watch the show in front of everybody. Y'all can watch along with the network, and it provides also, after the fact, a cool little commentary track.
Yeah.
You can go anytime afterwards, download the audio version or the video, watch along with the video version.
Correct.
And we take it'll give us time doing it monthly as opposed to weekly. Will give us the time to research it. Essentially, just listen to whatever episode of Something to Wrestle with Bruce Pritchard.
Or the Associated Wrestling Observer newsletter.
The Wrestling Observer newsletter. If there's any shoot interviews out there in the world about these particular events that we're going to be covering, these retro pay-per-views, I kind of like doing it on a monthly basis because we have plenty of time to prepare for it.
Yes.
So I feel like we prepared pretty
So
good
early
for
the new year, probably the first weekend in January, we'll figure out the next 3 options, put them up for a vote so we can get to researching as necessary.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, chances it's probably going to be a Rumble.
Yeah.
Like the first Rumble, a really good Rumble, and a really bad Rumble.
Well, the first and the really bad might be one and the same. I don't know.
94 the one where Luger and Bret Hart both won. That had to have been a bad one, right? Because Luger and Bret Hart.
The one
won.
we should watch. Have you ever watched the 92 one where Flair won it?
No.
That's really good.
That might be best.
That's really good.
So the first one, 92 when Flair won it.
And then a really bad one.
And then a really bad one.
Yeah.
We'll figure that out. Maybe the 40-man where Del Rio won it.
Oh.
Gee.
Oh, dear.
Anyways, but today we're talking about another December pay-per-view. It was Vengeance 2001.
Yes.
Very significant because it crowned the very first undisputed. First undisputed champion.
There for a second.
In, spoiler alert, Chris Jericho won it.
Well, I think I'd do spoiler alert for something that happened 17 years ago.
There's a lot of jokes here because I spoiled in the thumbnail.
How old does something have to be before you don't have to preface it with spoiler alert?
12 hours. No, actually, in our case, about 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel bad about that.
Well, that's the business. We're in the business of recapping things, and part of that is spoiling them. I understand the thumb because people haven't gotten to the...
Well, the problem with the thumbnail is that, when you open your email, apparently some people have the email where like it gives you a notification and it previews what the thumbnail is.
Yeah.
My bad. Anyways. The setup for this was the previous pay-per-view, which only happened like 2 or 3 weeks earlier.
Survivor Series, yeah.
Was Survivor Series. And that was the blow-off match for the Invasion. Mm-hmm. It was Shane and Stephanie owned WCW and ECW.
The Alliance.
McMahon owned WWF, and whoever won that final Survivor Series match, was it the totality of the number of matches won, or was it just that final match?
Don't recall.
Okay. Whoever won that would win control of the company. Kurt Angle ended up being sole survivor, I think, or at the very least, he ended up being the mole in the alliance that turned on them and helped WWF and Vince McMahon to victory.
Yeah.
The next night on Raw, Vince tried to just give Kurt Angle Steve Austin's WWF World title.
However, Ric Flair came out and said, I bought Shane and Stephanie's stake in the company.
Yeah.
Hey, Vince, we're partners.
Yes.
You can't just do that. And then he gives the title back to Stone Cold.
Yeah. In addition, Stone Cold immediately just went from, heel, awkward heel, although pretty funny heel, to just old Stone Cold, face again Stone Cold.
Yeah.
So that set up, now we have 2 titles, the WWF title and the WCW title, which they then just dubbed the world title because WCW at that point was dead.
Yeah, didn't exist anymore. So The Rock was the world heavyweight champion.
Correct.
Stone Cold was a WWF champion.
Yeah. So that set up, they needed to just, I guess Vince, according to Bruce Pritchard, Vince just wanted to get rid of that world title, the NWA title with all sorts of lineage.
You just want to kind of get that out of the way.
On top of that, they had already in I think it was like conference calls or something, at least Meltzer had in the newsletter, that they had already announced plans for a brand split. According to the newsletter, they had 165 people.
That's insane.
Under contract as performers, not just employees in the company. This is according to Meltzer, so I'm assuming it's true. 165 performers.
Well, I'd see why that would necessitate 2 brands.
How many? Well, yeah, and like 5 developmental territories.
Yeah, no,
that's a lot of people.
It is.
So it is kind of curious that they went down this undisputed
One
championship.
title, 2 brands. Why not each brand having their own championship? It seemed like pretty soon hereafter they decided to split the titles and go back to that. I mean, they did make an undisputed title. It's one Undertaker had for a while.
Yeah.
I think Hogan had it too.
Yeah, I think he did.
But then also in the Pritchard show, Conrad asked him, like, why didn't they have an undisputed title ready to go for this match? And Pritchard just kind of said, I don't know.
Yeah. Logistics.
Don't know.
I mean, it's like, why haven't I put all the Slow Wolfpack pictures up here yet? I don't know. I just haven't done it yet.
There are things going on.
Because things are going on. Things are going on, exactly.
Yeah.
So all that was pretty interesting.
Yes, it's a good listen.
It's a really good listen. Yeah, no, absolutely.
If you have 2.5 hours to spare.
Yeah.
Or, as I did, just break it up amongst several listening sessions. It's worth it. Well worth it. So the show kicked off with a video package to get you hyped up for Vengeance 2001, starring Freddie Blassie. Apparently, he directed this under the alias Freddie Fellini. I guess a shout out to famed Italian director
Federico Fellini.
Yes, and this was a bit of an avant-garde take on what you'd expect for a pre-pay-per-view video package. So you get Freddie Blassie. It's all black and white, sepia tone scratches on the film type stuff. There's like a weird clown in it. Freddie Blassie in a rocking chair, and a lot of B-roll of past champions, both WCW and WWF, highlighting the lineage of both titles. But what was the one thing missing? An undisputed champion. We haven't had that yet.
Yeah.
Today,
True.
This show, that will be decided.
I kind of liked that they did this, though. I mean, it's funny because it kind of feels like a throwaway pay-per-view, I guess. But, you think that, you're crowning, after how many decades, you're crowning the first.
The WWF had been in business for 38 years. 63.
63, yeah. So,
And of course, the NWA title goes back to the 40s.
Yeah. So the first time you're bringing these two titles together, that's a pretty significant thing. You'd think it'd be like at a Mania or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of appreciate they just went ahead and did it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just kind of, I don't know.
Well, I mean, if they wanted to treat it like an important,
how long did that undisputed title last?
I don't think very. If they were actually wanted treated this, thought it was an important event, they would have treated it as such. But according to Pritchard, Vince just wanted to get rid of the second title.
Yeah, so
it wasn't important to him.
Right. Like, this is a fairly big history-making thing, but Vince didn't really see it that way.
No, he
apparently.
didn't really seem to care.
So that's kind of interesting. And they decided to do the two feuds that were sort of going on at the time, Jericho, Rock, and Angle, Stone Cold.
Mm-hmm.
They decided to sort of go with them as sort of a mini tournament type thing. So that was kind of interesting. The intro was really cool. The Fellini thing you were talking about, because we had some old timey music.
Yes.
Some Nutcracker music, which I'm surprised they didn't go with new metal off the bat.
Yeah, I know.
So that was a welcome surprise. Very clever intro thing they had going on there. Anyways, what do you have about the Undisputed title?
Anyways, continue.
But yeah, the brand split was on its way.
It's like 2002, so it lasted less than a year.
It wasn't until
September 2002. Sorry.
So this lasted. That Undisputed title was
from December 2001 to September 2002. There was an Undisputed Championship.
So the brand split happened 4 months later, in March of 2002.
So they had the Undisputed Championship as cross-brand. It's my understanding.
Oh, is that what they did?
I believe so. But then you said it was March? So it's only a matter of 5 months where that was an issue, and then they brought back the World Heavyweight Championship.
Boy, I don't remember it being cross-brand.
I could be wrong about that.
I thought they just split the brands, and then right afterwards, what did they do after the Undisputed title?
What do you mean what they do after that?
Well, the Undisputed title just morphed back into the WWE title?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then they gave Triple H got the gold belt, right?
They just gave him the gold belt, but I thought that was right after the brand split, but what do I know? Anyways, the show opens up with a fairly long-ish Mr. McMahon promo. He was trying to get a lot of mileage out of the Kiss My Ass Club.
Yeah, which is unfortunate because it's a terrible idea. He goes on and on and on about how he had to kiss Rikishi's butt. But at the end, he says, "He who laughs last, laughs loudest."
And that was like a big theme of like the show.
Yeah,
that was
a bit
like
of foreshadowing. You
exactly.
Would think.
Yeah.
Ric Flair comes to the ring, checks him, and we move on. This promo went on forever.
It went a long time.
To essentially just have Vince complain about having to kiss Rikishi's butt.
Mm-hmm.
The show kicked off with its first match, Scotty, Too Hotty, and Albert. What do you say their tag team was called?
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. You're right. The Undisputed Championship was then consequently shared between both brands, and soon conflict began brewing over the title. In late August 2002, after becoming the youngest WWE World Champion at the time by winning the Undisputed Championship, Brock Lesnar and his title were made exclusive to SmackDown. To remedy this, the big gold belt was brought back the following month to represent the World Heavyweight Championship and became Raw's top championship. That would be opposites these days.
Oh yeah,
like Brock Lesnar.
The only reason that the World Heavyweight Championship went to Raw is because Triple H values history, and he wouldn't wear the same belt probably that Ric Flair wore.
Yeah.
And so when he's going to get gifted a title, he's like, "I want that one."
Is that speculation on your part?
Yeah.
That sounds dead on.
Yeah.
That sounds dead on. He probably loved that title. Oh yeah. Not some newfangled weird thing.
Yeah, I know.
That's funny.
Sky Too Hotty and Albert, what was their tag team called?
The Zoo Crew.
Zoo Crew. They were taking on Test and Christian. Back then, they just put people together in tag teams all the time.
They just tossed people together. So in this case, I had read this during our live stream, our watch party. So Too Cool, Scotty Too Hotty and Grandmaster Sexy, Lawler's kid, were broken up because Scotty Too Hotty had to go through neck surgery, and so they wrote him off with a fake broken ankle from Kurt Angle. That same year, Grandmaster Sexy was released from the WWF. This is from Wikipedia. He was stopped at the U.S.-Canada border with a bunch of illegal drugs.
Can't do that.
No, he can't. After Scotty Too Hotty came back, he formed a tag team with Albert called the Zoo Crew. Only lasted about 6 more months, though.
Yeah, they came to the ring. Vince is still in there, and they start dancing around him. He no-sells it, awkwardly leaves. Match starts outside of the ring with brawl between all 4 competitors. Eventually, Christian and Scotty Too Hotty get back in there. Short match, relatively. Everybody hits their spots pretty much, except Christian doesn't get it unprettier off. Or what do you call it? Kill switch?
I think at this time, wasn't it still the Unpretty?
It might have been.
What did it start as? The Unpretty or Kill Switch?
I don't remember.
I think probably
it was a long time ago, man. Yeah, I think it did.
Because later on, he had more like character, Captain Charisma, all that kind of stuff. Probably Unprettier at that point.
Yeah, probably.
In either event, it's a terrible move.
When Leo Rush does it, it's kind of cool because he twists around a few times.
Well, yeah, he adds his own flair
to it.
And when you're a smaller guy doing it to a smaller guy, it's a bit more smooth.
Yeah.
When you try to get a Haas into that,
tough.
It's terrible. It looks so awkward.
Scotty Too Hotty, of course, hits a worm. Test, I guess his one move was a huge boot. In the end, Albert hits a Baldo bomb on Christian for the win.
Mm-hmm. Alex C says, talking about throwing together tag teams, as opposed to now when they're organic teams like Rude and Gable.
That's kind of the outlier these days.
Others of pain. They found 2 guys from 2 different countries who literally look exactly the same.
William Regal had interview next. He was great. William Regal was awesome.
Man.
Awesome.
He was so good. God, he's so good. What did he say?
Talking trash to Coach.
I hate people like you, Americans. What did he say?
I think he said disrespectful American or something like that.
You incur my wrath. You'd be better off selling your soul to the devil, as he's about to find out right now as they take his Intercontinental Championship.
So good.
Oh, man, it was
so
great.
Good.
It was so good.
So good.
So they were going really hard on the Kiss My Ass Club thing. And
for the Pritchard podcast. Interesting. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, like the Pritchard podcast, he made a point of saying everybody pretty much hated it. Nobody wanted to do it, except for Regal. He thought it was great.
Well, no one else wanted to do it. Regal appreciated that it was like a heat magnet, so he's cool doing it for that reason.
Yeah.
I don't think he really
I
wanted
think
to
he
do
also
it.
said he thought it was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That too.
Which it kind of is.
Yeah, I guess so. Next, Edge, the man who does cool, neat things, versus William Regal. Regal getting a ton of heat from the crowd. This is a fun match, kind of short though. Edge hits a Frankensteiner. Regal kicks out. At one point, Edge gets thrown to the ring steps. Regal went and gets some brass knuckles that he had hid near the ring post under the ring, and he puts them in the front of his trunks.
Mm-hmm.
Regal rolls Edge back in the ring. Only gets a 2 count though, because Edge gets his foot on the ropes. You know, you mentioned this. William Regal, a seasoned ring veteran, should know better than to try to get a pin right near the ropes.
Like
Tactical error on his part.
I've played the 2K series enough not to pin anybody near the ropes.
Yeah, and even in the game, it's kind of a 50-50 chance whether they actually get the rope break or not.
It's a toss-up. You can be close to the middle of the ring and they'll give you a rope break.
You can be right under the ring
and they won't.
Right under the ropes and you won't get it. Next, Regal hits a Tiger driver. Edge kicks out. Regal then hits 2 more of them, back to back. Edge kicks out again.
Why is the Tyler Driver 97 book so
weak?
Back then?
I don't know. In the end, though, Regal pulls out the brass knuckles from his trunks, turns around, eats the spear out of nowhere from Edge. Edge picks up the win.
You're on this date. No, it was the Rob Zombie song. That's right.
But it still was preceded by, you think you know me.
You think you know me. Yeah. That was always there.
Yeah, man.
On this day, what's his prime theme? It's got to be On This Day, right?
Yeah, I see clearly.
I don't know, man. I kind of like the Rob Zombie thing.
No, I didn't remember he had a Rob Zombie theme, whereas I always remember, On This Day.
Rob Zombie was the one who did the Raw theme. Was it Raw or SmackDown? To the minute, down to let it on. Wasn't that Rob Zombie?
Maybe. It sounds like it could be a Rob Zombie thing.
It feels like it. Sounds like it, yeah.
Yeah. Next, Flair's backstage on his phone, his flip phone. This is a funny little bit. Kurt Angle comes in, and Kurt Angle keeps on trying to tell Flair, who he thinks, I guess, is doubting him, I'm going to do it. I'm going to win the I keep wanting to say undisputed.
You want to say undisputed.
Undisputed title. And Flair just completely understated. All right,
Yeah.
that's cool. Do it.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's good.
Good.
It's really
Yeah,
good.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Do it.
I'm
I'm
sure
going to
you
do
can.
it. I'm going to do it, Rick.
Okay, that's awesome.
I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to be the first one.
Yeah.
I can do it.
Understated flair is hilarious.
It's like, all right, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
It's good.
It's good.
That's
Awesome.
good.
Yeah. And that was just it.
Yeah, it was a pretty funny bit. Kurt Angle's great.
Oh, yeah. Next, Lita, she's in her referee gear. She's back in the locker room stretching. Matt Hardy comes in.
So her gimmick back then, beyond many things, one of her gimmicks was to wear the underwear stretches up over the pants.
Over the outside of the pants, yes.
And I think that was striped.
Yes, it was.
And then she had like a very tight-fitting,
with
custom ref
pink
outfit.
trim, hot pink trim on
with
it.
the belly cut off. So she looked like $1 million. Cheesy Matt Hardy comes in, her boyfriend at the time.
Her beau, and has a very earnest conversation with him.
What did all these fantastic women see in Matt Hardy?
I don't know.
I mean, is he that charming a guy? Because he dated a lot of really striking women back then. Like he was the Clooney backstage. Kind of interesting because he's so cheesy.
I love this line he said. I want to go out there and get the opportunity to prove that I make good decisions.
Yes.
Great.
Wonderful.
That was great. Anyways, Lita in the end, because he's imploring her to, hey, I'm your boyfriend. You know,
she's like, Matt,
help
dude,
me out.
I'm going to call it right down the middle.
Well, she says, as your girlfriend, I'll always be on your side.
Yeah.
But I'm referee tonight.
There's some foreshadowing for you.
Yes. So, right down the middle is going to be called.
And he's like, all right, great. No, that's awesome. Wink, wink. And he's like, and after this, we'll put it all behind us. And then we'll go out and get some food.
He say it'll be a Matt and Lita night, I think is what he said.
Matt and Lita night. Oh, man.
Next, we had a pretty cool Hardy's video package. They showed footage all the way back to their Omega days in Omega Wrestling. I think it was their own promotion they had in North Carolina. Early days in WWF, the ups and downs of their tag career. The whole basis of this feud is that Jeff Hardy did some high spot in a cage match and ended up costing the Hardy Boys a match. Matt got mad. They start pushing each other. At one point backstage, they're arguing. They push Lita over.
Yeah. She no-sells it, though. She gets right back up.
Yeah, no.
She's like, what is your problem? And they just keep up. Nobody apologizes. They're like,
No,
oh, my God, I'm
she
sorry.
should have hurricane rounded both of them.
Oh, that'd been great.
Right then and there in the hallway.
So this ended like I forgot about this, but I guess they did do one more sort of blow-off match afterwards, which was it was a handicap match, Matt versus Lita and Jeff.
That's interesting.
Which I forget the outcome of that.
That must have been at the Rumble then, huh?
Kind of doesn't matter.
Or was it on an episode of Raw?
It might have been on Raw. I don't remember. I just remember mentioning it on the thing.
So it was interesting because Jeff comes in the ring wearing a baseball cap, and I thought, it's a Hardy Boys branded piece of merchandise. He wore it down the ring, to sell merch. They'll take it off before the match starts. No, he starts the match with a baseball hat on.
Wearing that, man.
I don't know how that's comfortable.
Yeah, man.
You can't take any forward bumps because you got the bill of the hat in your way.
Oh, so Discord, to go back to the Christian thing, Henry Harris says that it started as the Unprettier and then became the Kill Switch.
Oh, there you go.
Interesting.
There you go.
Oh, whoa. Hold on a second.
What?
That can't be true.
What?
Cody Miles is probably joking here. Maybe not, though. He says as of today, WWE 205 NXT and UK, there are 296 roster members.
Oh, between all the brands?
Yeah, between all the brands that are WWE.
Does that include developmental talents in NXT?
I would think that would be everybody.
300. Pushing 300. That's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah, that is a lot.
Ton. Anyways, Jeff starts the match with a baseball hat. I don't know why that stuck out, but it did because it was weird. I'd never seen it before.
You don't see a lot of baseball hats. Like the only other baseball
Basically
hat
none.
I can think of is Warrior when he wore it for
that was just for a promo.
Which was weird anyways.
I mean, Heyman used to wear a baseball hat for a promo.
Oh, his was iconic, yeah.
But I don't remember anybody actually wearing one out for a match. Not a whole lot of the high-risk, high-flying stuff. This is more physical, bit more brutal, which is befitting, two brothers. If they're going to fight, they're not going to worry about getting high spots in there. They just want to punch each other in the mouth.
Yeah.
At one point, Matt goes for a sunset flip powerbomb. Jeff counters it with a Hurricane Rana. And then shortly thereafter, Jeff kind of does like a sunset flip over Matt to get back in the ring and lands awkwardly on the knee. Starts selling knee injury. Matt, of course, sees a target on that knee, on that joint, and starts working it.
Yeah.
He's at one point, he just grabbed Jeff's leg and started doing this, pulling it.
Yeah, I liked it. It was, it wasn't just, I mentioned this during live stream as well. You get Matt and Jeff Hardy, known for the extreme stuff. This was a lot more this looked a lot more like a grudge match.
Yeah, like a real fight.
Apropos to the story being told.
Yes.
So I like that aspect of it.
Jeff gets his knee worked over so much that at one point he's going for like a slingshot maneuver to hit Matt on the outside with like a plancha or something. Knee gives out. He can't do it. Jeff goes up to the top. Matt tosses him off the top rope. At one point, Matt pins Jeff, grabs the rope for extra leverage. Lita sees it, says, "No,
hey now,
you can't do that.
You can't do that.
You can't do that.
I know the rules."
In the end, Jeff hits a swanton, goes for the pin. Matt gets his foot in the rope. Lita doesn't see it. Before the 3 count, Jeff pulls Matt's leg off the rope. Jeff gets the win.
And then Matt is beside himself. He's yelling at his girlfriend.
He just storms out.
No.
Walks up the ramp. Won't
My
congratulate
foot
his brother on
was
the win.
on the rope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next, Trish is outside the Rock's locker room. She enters, and she says to the Rock, I really appreciate that you drove Vince's face into Rikishi's buttocks.
Yeah. Made him sniff the butthole area.
Yeah, he says,
I thought it was really great.
And says, I wish you luck on your match or matches tonight.
Yeah.
And gives him a kiss on the cheek.
Rock was acting a little high here.
Or drunk.
Or high or
inebriated.
Both. Yeah. He was like, hold on, wait. Shh. Oh, where are you going? Where are you going? Tonight, once you're done defending your title match, and The Rock is done getting the Undisputed Championship, you can smell my crotch area.
Well, he doesn't. You can smell what The Rock is cooking. He grabs the top of his sweatpants and kind of thrusts his groin outwards in that
like
direction.
that. She seems into it, though, too, consenting hot adults. Live sex action. Who wouldn't want to see that? She seemed into it. He seemed into it. So, yeah, the implication is maybe later on they did something physical, which would be great.
However, since The Rock, spoiler alert, didn't claim the Undisputed title.
Oh, that's a good point.
It probably didn't happen.
It probably didn't happen.
There was with the caveat of both of them winning their championship.
She didn't get to smell what Rock had in his pants. Do you smell what The Rock is cooking? I always felt that do you smell what somebody's cooking as a fart reference. But I guess it's just do you feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. Yeah.
But smell is too specific a scent.
It really is.
It
really is.
So I don't know. Moving on.
Next tag title match. Dudleys, the tag champions, taking on Big Show and Kane.
Weird Big Show with like short hair, balding.
Yeah.
Kind of a scruffy beard-ish thing going on.
He was kind of, we were trying to place whether this was in disgruntled, bad attitude, out of shape Big Show.
Rumored, yeah.
Disgruntled, in shape Big Show.
Right, yeah.
Or
good attitude, out of shape Big Show.
Where exactly in his career he was, yes. And we weren't exactly able to place it during the course of this match. This is back when Stacy Keibler was the Dudleys' valet. And she got involved a little bit at one point. She's in the ring. There's some brawling going on outside. She starts yelling. Big Show comes from behind, just pulls her skirt down.
Mm-hmm.
And then spanks her.
Seems to be kind of an HR nightmare going on.
There's a lot going on in the Attitude Era that was complete and utter HR nightmare.
Oh, man.
And then at one point, I was typing notes, so I didn't see what instigated this. But the Big Show and Kane were arguing. There was a miscommunication between them. Dudleys take advantage. They attack. But then later on, Big Show goes for a shoulder tackle on Bubba Ray. Bubba gets out of the way, and Big Show knocks Kane off the apron.
They just didn't have good chemistry, kayfabe. They didn't have good... I mean, realistically, these two monsters... This match should have been 2 minutes long, and they would have destroyed the Dudleys.
Yes, obviously.
They couldn't get on the same page. I forget what sort of spurred the argument, but Big Show accidentally laid out Kane because Bubba got out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
The Dudleys were able to take advantage of that and sort of do a flapjack.
Yeah, they called it a 3D, but there wasn't really a
JR
3D.
called it a 3D, but basically, I think whenever both Bubba Ray and Devon lift somebody in any manner, he refers to it as a 3D. But it really wasn't that. They just sort of flapjacked him onto the exposed turnbuckle. They pick up the win.
They successfully defend those titles.
Not a good outing for Big Show and Kane. Stacy Keibler was pretty upset because at one point Big Show grabbed her by the hair.
Yeah.
Devon made the save on her, but she was pretty bitter about that.
Yeah. understandably so.
And then she went on to date George Clooney.
Mm-hmm.
That's a hell of a resume accomplishment right there, man. I dated George Clooney. Huge Hollywood star.
Oh, yeah.
Massive star.
Yeah.
What's your favorite Clooney movie?
Oh, it's Out of Sight. It's the Soderbergh one, man.
Mine might be Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
That's a good one, too.
Oh, man. But they're both great movies.
Mm-hmm.
Out of Sight's a terrific movie.
Oh, heck yeah.
It's a really terrific movie.
Next, the Don't Do This at Home PSA used to run during this time because a bunch of people used to try to do wrestling moves in their backyard. Yep.
Yeah, or in our apartment.
Yep.
Yeah.
Getting choke slammed through cardboard boxes and stuff.
You actually have a shoot neck injury from those days.
Mm-hmm.
So
potentially.
But that preceded these PSAs.
Yes, and if I'd seen those PSAs, maybe you wouldn't have done it.
Maybe Big Jeff wouldn't have destroyed your neck.
Who knows?
He just sit on your neck at some point.
Well, my head was under my body, and then he was on top of me.
Ouch.
I mean, the doctor said it was a congenital neck condition, but
should have given that doctor an uranagi, or maybe a step-up insecurity.
Yeah. Next, we had Lita backstage, kind of hovering outside of Matt's locker room. She's trying to implore him to let's talk this out. Let's have a conversation. Let's work this out. Matt is so angry about losing this match that he just packs his luggage and leaves.
Man.
Rude.
Next,
Undertaker RVD video package. This is when Undertaker was in full-on Big Evil mode. Heel American Badass.
Might be my favorite Undertaker.
They showed.
I'm not the only person to have that opinion.
No,
either.
that's fine. And they showed clips from when he made JR kiss Vince's butt. Saying,
yeah,
no one
this
around
was
here
great.
has kissed.
Yeah. Nobody around
here has kissed Vince's buttocks more than I. Sorry.
Nobody around here has kissed more ass than me. JR. Now Vince is going to kiss your... Wait, what did he say? Are you going to kiss his ass, JR? And JR thinking that he had Undertaker's protection. Are you going to kiss his ass, JR?
No.
Because you think you're better than me? Yeah. And then he, makes JR...
Well, he lays out JR and then makes him kiss Vince's butt.
And JR is all wearing Vince is wearing JR's hat.
Humiliating.
Oh, so rude.
Humiliating.
Humiliated.
So that went to their hardcore title match, Undertaker and RVD. This was a ton of fun.
All right, hold on a second.
What?
Here we go. Cody Miles has provided us with a spreadsheet.
Spreadsheet of everybody.
And the number goes down to 252.
Well, the Tyson Kidd's on there. He's not wrestling.
There's two. Hold on a second. There's two Ty Dillingers. There's two Tyler Bates. There's two Tino Sabatellis.
You're inflating your numbers there, Cody Miles.
There are two Tegan Knoxes.
There's two Shelton Benjamins.
What is going on with this list? There's two Sami Zayns.
Two Roman Reigns.
Two Romans. I mean, it's a large number. I will grant you that. It is a large number. He's padding his stats, man.
Yeah, man.
What's going on in Discord over there?
It's like Barkley used to do, intentionally miss a shot to get the rebound.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's true. I heard that,
though. But
this was great. This was a great match.
This is probably match of the card right here. They were treating the hardcore champ. I don't know when
they started making the hardcore title.
Was 2000 was WrestleMania 2001 you went to?
That's when they had the Battle Royal.
Okay.
Where they had 30 guys out there all fighting. If you pin somebody for that moment, you won the hardcore title. I think it was like a time limit.
So that was probably around the time that they would just cut into an episode of Raw and somebody would win it.
It was a 24/7 defense, all that stuff.
So at some point between then and now, or then in December 2001, probably when RVD, they were like, man, this RVD guy, let's test him out with a title. He's got ECW credibility.
Mm-hmm.
He's really good. He's supremely over.
Oh, he was insanely over.
Kind of weird that it took another, because this is so we're entering 2002. He won the title from Cena in 2006.
Took another 5 years to put a world title on him.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. He had the Intercontinental title a ton.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he did. But yeah, it's kind of interesting they didn't push him a bit harder, a bit sooner.
Mm-hmm. Pretty quickly, this match moves out to the crowd. They start brawling out there. Undertaker grabs a flag from a fan and chokes RVD with it. And then RVD gets Undertaker off, climbs up on the railing there, hits a moonsault off the barrier. Gets a 2 count because it's false count anywhere.
Undertaker looked like he was having a blast.
Yeah, he did look like he was having a grand time
during this match.
Heel Big Evil.
He really did.
He did. His facial expressions, you pointed this out, were next level.
Yeah.
I mean, I can get that. You're as the Undertaker, you're supposed to be kind of removed, aloof.
Yeah, sure.
You're a supernatural being.
Yeah.
You're not wrapped up in human emotion.
This did seem to give him
some freedom to actually have some fun.
Be himself and have some fun, exactly.
Undertaker, they start brawling over by the stage area. Undertaker grabs a chair. RVD finds a fire extinguisher somehow. Hits him with that. He goes up into the crowd, up into the stands, and is on the railing above one of the entrances. Hits a crossbody off that. Taker kicks out at 2. They keep brawling. They're brawling up towards the stage. RVD hits his twisting leg drop thing. Taker breaks up the pin, not by kicking out, by jamming his thumb in RVD's eye.
Yeah.
That was great. Undertaker lawn darts RVD into the Minitron. He tries to go for a last ride. RVD holds on to the set to escape. Undertaker gets another chair. RVD counters with a spinning heel kick. And the Undertaker is selling it against the Minitron. RVD hits a Van Daminator.
With the chair.
In the chair, yeah. But in the end, Undertaker chokeslams RVD off the stage, through a table, down on the floor, gets the win. And he sold that. He must have had a grand time in that match because he was all...
That look on his face afterwards was it was selling the crap out of the match itself.
Yeah.
That's the kind of expression you never really got from the Undertaker when he was, the supernatural guy. Dead man. And according to the Pritchard podcast, he went backstage, had a big old smile on his face, and obviously that probably went a long way towards helping Rob Van Dam prove to Vince that he was the real deal.
Yep.
So yeah, this was an absolute blast of a match.
Yeah, it was a ton of fun.
I really enjoyed it. RVD can kind of do no wrong in my book. To be honest,
he was
with
fantastic, man.
But I mean, God, by the time. That's one thing I know. I think we've done like a book of the match on One Night Stand 2006. I wouldn't mind doing a watch party and going in Rawview on that.
That was a fun show.
Because my God, that bit was seen in RVD.
So good.
Next level.
Yeah.
Just next level.
Well, then Terry Funk almost loses an eye on that show.
Yeah.
That hardcore match. Once again, we're backstage with Ric Flair. He's again on his phone. Chris Jericho walks in and is getting on Flair about, you don't think I could do it, can you, Rick? You don't have confidence that I can be undisputed champion. Do the one thing that you never did.
If you can do it, you'll be the man.
Yeah.
That's what Flair says. No, look, brother, if you can do it, you'll be the man.
Jericho probably said, that's right, Rick. I would be the man.
I would be the man. Oh, Naito, you stupid son of a bitch.
Next, women's championship match. Trish Stratus taking on Jacqueline. Jacqueline was awesome.
Jacqueline was great. She basically carried this match.
Oh,
I mean,
yes.
To be fair, they talk about this on the Pritchard show as well, and it gives you some really great context about Trish Stratus, about how basically they put the title on her because she was marketable, but also, and she wasn't technically very good as a wrestler at the time, but they recognized that she was putting in tons of hard work. They brought in Jacqueline to make Trish better, to really teach her.
Yeah, apparently they were doing matches in the house show circuit.
Yeah. And so that's why this match is only like 3.5 minutes long. It's not a long one at all. But by the time 2000, and when did her and Lita, was it 2004, 2006, something like that? Main evented Raw in that classic match. Like, you could tell that hard work. And she did that under a bright spotlight.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so, herself, what stood out to me was in the 3.5 minutes that we saw, her selling, I thought, was pretty decent.
Her selling was good. And like, she would do the individual moves. Okay, it was transitioning from one thing to the next. There was one time where she did a move and was trying to transition to a cover, and it was a little sloppy.
Sometimes placement seemed a little wonky. When Jacqueline took out Trish's legs, I think Trish fell on Jacqueline as opposed to sort of where she probably should, but I'm not a wrestler. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a bit wonky. Trish won with a backslide. But, at this time, the fact that she comes into the WWF and at the time, obviously, go back to like 98, when they're really pushing, for example, Sable hard with the sexed up stuff. She comes in and she wants to be a better wrestler. That to me is interesting because it's something that they weren't really doing at the time. And so, you know, she got to the point between her and Lita. And then, of course, you know, obviously with Jacqueline in there as a big help and sort of a mentor to apparently a bunch of people backstage. They were sort of trying to build up that women's division. Then it took a turn for the worse. And then, you know, obviously in the last 5 years or so, it's gotten infinitely better.
Yeah.
After that, they do a recap video package on the Vince McMahon Kiss My Ass Club. The finale, the blow off of that, where Vince had his head shoved into Rikishi's butt by The Rock, and that ended that particular segment. I think just wanted to get a lot of mileage out of that.
Yeah, they were really trying to get a lot of mileage. But also, it was during that particular segment where The Rock declared that the Kiss My Butt Club was closed.
It was donezo.
Done. They threw to Rikishi, who was at WWF New York, the restaurant they had there in Times Square for a short while.
Yeah. We never got to eat there.
No, because we never made it out to New York during that period.
No. We went to the Marvel restaurant at Universal
That was
Studios,
decent.
though. I liked that place.
Yeah,
that place
bad.
was good.
Food was
man.
okay.
Food was what it was. They had like a freaking Infinity Gauntlet there 20 years before it became a cool thing.
Yeah, that's true. Next, we had the first of three kind of co-main events. Kurt Angle taking on WWF champion Stone Cold Steve Austin. Fun match. These guys always worked well together.
Sorry. Mr. Sinister here in the Discord said maybe all those double-counted superstars are because of Rawgate, just like in the Prestige.
Could be. Oh, yeah. Again, Kurt Angle and Stone Cold always worked really well together. This is a ton of fun.
Yeah, no, it was really fun. It just really kind of scared me whenever Angle would do a German suplex on Austin. And Austin's German suplexes on Angle are all really high.
Yeah.
That always freaks me out.
Yeah, I know. A lot of pressure on the neck and upper shoulders, and both of them have bad necks.
Yeah.
We had a ankle lock spot pretty early in this match. Stone Cold got to the ropes, almost. Angle pulls him back in the middle. But then Austin gets to the ropes. And you mentioned the multiple German suplexes from Angle. Austin kicks out. Angle goes for a beautiful moonsault.
Magnifique.
Stone Cold gets out of the way.
Yeah, he misses
it.
Yeah.
Then Austin does his own series of multiple German suplexes. Angle kicks out at 2. Ref's distracted. Angle hits a low blow, hits an Angle slam. Austin kicks out. Angle then starts jumping around the ring like having a fit.
He's having a little, hissy fit there.
Austin gets up. Angle goes for a stunner. Austin pushes him away. Hits him with his own stunner. He picks up the win.
Yep. Retains for the very last time. He retains his
successful title defense.
WWF Championship. Never again will he hold that title.
Nope. Next, we got a really creepy segment where Tess busts into Trish's locker room. It was creeps.
What a big old creep.
A huge creep.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely told him, give him the roofie guy vibe, He literally kicks the door not down, but he kicks the door in.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Ew, you're gonna be the luckiest chick on the planet. Oh, why wouldn't you want to touch me, Test?"
She's in the doing her makeup in the mirror, and she's got a towel on.
Yeah, and he's all looking her up and down. He's all,
so creepy.
Yeah, it's pretty gross. Big old HR disaster.
Huge HR
happen.
nightmare. They really needed a better HR department.
It's doesn't he know there's a cameraman right there?
I know.
Why was there a cameraman watching Trish?
That's
another
question.
Kind of
that
a weird
another
question.
HR issue.
That's a massive HR issue.
WWF was plagued with a bunch of HR issues in that particular period of time.
Man, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Anyways, that didn't really. I mean, I'm sure they probably followed that up after the fact. I mean, Test, big messed up heel guy. They probably did something with that after the fact. I don't know what year he got released. I know, wasn't he part of their ECW reboot?
I thought so.
That was sort of the end of him, I guess. Yeah, I don't know.
Next, we had The Rock, the World Heavyweight Champion, versus Chris Jericho.
We do have to mention also, prior to this, prior to these last 3 matches, they did a really, really cool video package set to Drowning Pool's Sinner. I don't want to make anybody mad.
You made note of that.
I made a couple people, I apologize. People thought I was burying Marilyn the other day. I did. It was me just having some fun.
Yeah.
It was just jokey jokes. I've never been to Maryland. I'm sure it's lovely. I'm sure it's great. If you live there and you love it, kudos. More power to you. New metal, though. If you like new metal, I want nothing to do with you.
Wow.
I'm joking.
You love new metal. What are you talking about?
I love it in the context exclusively of WWE video packages. It fits WWE video package so well, the new metal does.
Well, you're not wrong there.
Exactly. And I thought Drowning Pool's Sinner was a fantastic backdrop music track.
Definitely a product of its time.
Oh, big time. Yeah, absolutely. But I thought it was great to be set to that video package. That was fantastic.
Yeah. Next, The Rock versus Chris Jericho. Fun match, bit overbooked. They start brawling on the outside. Y2J goes for a rock bottom on the announce table. Rock says, counters the DDT. And then Y2J goes for a people's elbow. Rock catches him, puts him in the sharpshooter, but Jericho counters pretty much immediately into his own sharpshooter. Rock gets to the ropes. Both have taken quite a bit of punishment by this point. Rock hits a rock bottom out of nowhere, but he can't make the cover. So they're both selling the effects of their match. Vince runs to the ring. Rock goes for the cover, but Earl is dealing with Vince.
Yeah.
Doesn't pay attention. The Rock goes over, decks Vince, hits Y2J with a spine buster, goes for the people elbow, but no, Vince is on the apron. Rock goes, pulls him in the ring, turns back to Jericho. He does hit the elbow, then goes back to Vince, starts beating up in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Earl's trying to separate the whole thing. Jericho hits a low blow, a rock bottom of his own, pins the Rock.
He uses a low blow and the Rock's own signature move to pin.
Finisher. It's his primary finisher still then.
The people's elbow wasn't his primary finisher?
He beat people with the people's elbow from time to time.
He beat people with both of them. That's right. Yeah. I thought that was usually his prime finisher.
It might have been more so as a face, but heel was always rock bottom.
Okay. I mean, the rock bottom is the one that makes all the sense in the world.
Well, that seems like a real finisher.
Exactly. Oh, man.
People's elbow, not so much. And right away, the main event started. Chris Jericho taking on Stone Cold pretty much as soon as the bell rang to end the previous match. You hear Stone Cold.
Yeah, and they did a great job on camera here.
Mm-hmm.
They had Jericho framed perfectly so that he's like in the foreground, and in the background you see like the entrance. And Jericho's happy to have survived the Rock, and then the glass breaks. The camera's still on Jericho, and he just gives like, stomach drops face.
Yeah, he knows exactly what he's in for.
So yeah, Stone Cold comes out. He's still selling the previous match. He comes in, and they go at it.
Well, before the match even really begins, Kurt Angle runs in.
Oh my God, that's right.
Hits Stone Cold with a chair.
Pre-match, it's overbooked.
Yeah, hits Austin with a chair, and while Hebner's dealing with that, The Rock, who's still milling ringside because this match just ended. Runs in.
Jericho's got a mini gauntlet going on here.
I know. Runs in, hits rock bottom on Jericho, and then The Rock sees Kurt Angle and starts running after him up the ramp.
Okay, but hold on a second. What's the problem that Rock has with Angle?
Oh, I'm sure it's of Legion, man.
But was there anything set up like?
Oh, I don't remember.
Prior to, I know maybe. I don't know.
Didn't they have a feud for the World Heavyweight title?
Maybe.
Because Rock won it previous, and then
I just love the idea that like going into this cold, we haven't seen any interaction between Rock and Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
But something about Kurt Angle.
As soon as The Rock gets his eyes on Kurt, he just wants to.
He just wants to punch him in the face. I like that basic idea that Kurt Angle just has a punchable face.
Yeah. Before we get into this main event, let's talk about why Jericho won the title here. Again, if you haven't checked out the Bruce Pritchard podcast about this show, do so. It's really interesting. Pretty much in short, just prior to the show, Vince notified the agents that he was having some discussions with Hogan and the rest of the NWO, kind of solicited their advice, see who was on board with Hogan and Hall and Nash coming in. Apparently, by and large, everybody was cool with Hogan, not so much Hall and Nash. And so Vince's priorities heading into Mania season was not really who was going to be fighting for the title as so much as who from the NWO was be taking on Stone Cold and The Rock.
Mm-hmm.
And a secondary thing, all the marketing for Vengeance 2001 was centered on Triple H. However, he hadn't rehabbed, I guess, his torn quad in time, and wasn't able to return at the show despite the fact there's sledgehammers all over the place.
Yeah, kind of interesting they still went with this poster, too. I'm not sure what the turnaround time is on when they need the materials versus when Triple H's, clearance had become an issue. So that was kind of interesting. And like you said, I mean, I can get that video assets, especially back then.
Yeah.
Couldn't be exactly whipped up on the fly.
I don't know, though, because it's all, I mean, Avid existed back then.
Yeah.
I don't know if they were doing linear and non-linear editing, whether they're doing it on an old tape-to-tape machine or what exactly, but...
And a couple times the crowd was chanting Triple H. They expected this to happen.
Yeah. And I guess the idea for Jericho to win, so Stone Cold and The Rock, they're doing something else at Mania.
The main point he got across was Stone Cold and The Rock versus various members of the NWO were the number 1 and number 2 priorities in Vince McMahon's head. The title was number 3.
Yeah.
And the title essentially was Triple H is going to win this at Mania. We need somebody for him to beat. And that perfect person was Chris Jericho.
Chris Jericho. They're booking him as kind of a cowardly, weak heel, someone that needed help to win, that it was entirely believable for anybody pretty much in the locker room to come out one-on-one and beat him.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Wow.
I'm hungry, man.
No kidding.
So anyways, with that in mind, kick off the main event. Jericho comes to enough from the rock bottom to go, covers Austin. Austin kicks out at 2. They start brawling in the ring, outside the ring. Austin pulls off the ring mat from the concrete floor. They get up on the announce table. Jericho tries to get Austin into the walls. Austin reverses. In the end, Austin suplexes Jericho on the concrete. Back in the ring later on, Jericho gets the walls on Austin. Austin gets to the ropes. And then this is when the overbooking really begins. Austin ducks as Jericho's running towards him off the ropes. So Jericho flies right into Earl Hebner. Ref bump. Earl is knocked out.
Earl tumbles out of the ring.
Yes. Jericho hits a low blow. A pretty weak-looking stunner. And then Vince gets on the ramp, starts waving down the ramp. And who is it?
NWO ref Nick Patrick.
So Nick Patrick gets in the ring.
Some foreshadowing for the NWO's arrival.
Yeah. He starts waving Jericho over to Austin to pin him. Flair runs down, pulls Nick Patrick out of the ring. Vince cold cocks Flair and then throws him to the ring post. Dong.
Dong.
Back in the ring, Austin hits a low blow on Jericho, and then he turns attention towards Vince, starts beating him. Austin then puts Jericho on the walls. Jericho taps basically before Austin turns around. Turns over, you know.
He basically turns over, and before he sinks in, Jericho immediately just starts tapping out.
But there's still no ref. Out of nowhere, Booker T runs in with the WWF title, decks Austin with it.
And then full sprints out of there through the crowd and just disappears.
At this point, Vince shoves Earl back into the ring. Jericho makes the cover, gets the win. He is your
Slowest
first.
count. I was kind of surprised about that. Like, you know, it's Austin. You want him strong.
Yeah.
And, you know, Earl comes over there and just...
Well, he's coming too, man. Yeah.
You know.
It's this weird thing with Jericho, because I wonder if they did that so it wasn't like a fast count, so it was another fluke way that Jericho won. There's this weird kind of...
Yeah.
That's just my supposition. It's a weird dichotomy with this where they want to book Jericho as this kind of weakish heel. But at the same time, he pretty much runs a 2-match gauntlet.
Yeah.
2 matches back-to-back.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's some hijinks involved with him getting both wins.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like it was an immediate thing. He still had 2 basically full-length matches.
So I'm a big fan. I'm not a huge fan of... So, for example, Seth Rollins' world title run, when he used the same formula every single time to win his matches. Like, he put on stellar matches, and then J&J and Kane...
Well, he put on stellar matches and somehow find a way to be on the verge of defeat.
Yeah, exactly.
When everything was set up for him like an easy win.
I was always a big fan of guys like Eddie Guerrero, who were just super clever.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Pritchard was getting at with Jericho, and what they wanted to do is a guy who you could beat, anybody could beat, but he would always find these
sneaky ways
matches,
yeah,
to win. I remember not being a huge fan. I think it was because I was just a big Jericho fan, and I always like guys being booked strong, or at least in Eddie Guerrero's case, crafty.
Mm-hmm.
And I never felt like they gave. It always felt like Jericho was obviously just there to lose the title to Triple H.
Yeah,
that always felt so obvious, and that was the case. And I don't know. Like, I always feel like he didn't. I don't know that he got a lot of heel heat necessarily. Like, the crowd didn't really seem to be into like booing him the way they were like boo Triple H.
Yeah.
Triple H was a heel that people hated.
Yeah, because he wasn't cowardly really,
and that wasn't
he was aggressive.
Yeah, he was aggressive. He would bully his way into situations.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I was a big Triple H fan. I just love Triple H, man. He was great. So yeah, that was Vengeance. Triple H would come back sometime after this and declare for the Rumble.
Yep.
He would go on
win
to win the Rumble.
Win the undisputed title from Chris Jericho at WrestleMania.
At WrestleMania, yeah.
We got a few super chats here. Cody Miles says, "Happy early Christmas, friendos." Right back at you.
Thank you, friend.
Kai Eastwood. This is what I need after getting food poisoning after eating pizza from a place with a 1 food rating. Ooh.
Oh, dude, you can't do that
don't
to
do
yourself.
That. Alex C., this Christmas money is for your dogs exclusively.
I put you down like a dog.
Why, thank you, Alex C. DG Photo Video. Where does "You're my best friend" come from?
You're my best friend.
It's targeted.
It was a series of intros we did for 10 for the Win back in the day.
Yeah. Sadly, I doubt any of them are still up.
We're going to get them back up.
We'll find a way.
Part of the Patreon, $1 a month.
Yeah, we'll see. LPD Ninja at work, first time watching your reviews of the older shows. Do you guys like looking back on the shows or not? I mean, granted, it shows the difference between then and now. I mean, part of it's nostalgia because this is, like my formative wrestling years. I watched in the 80s somewhat, but, I don't remember a ton. So from like late 96 to, probably early 2002, I watched a ton of wrestling.
Yeah.
So that's part of it. Despite the fact that I was watching quite a bit of wrestling then, I didn't watch all the pay-per-views.
Yeah.
Because that was $60 a pop.
Yeah.
Especially once I moved off to college, I couldn't afford that. So there's a lot of shows that I haven't seen, like this one. I still hadn't seen Vengeance 2001.
Oh, really?
Prior.
That's
No.
interesting.
No.
I don't know why I had then.
December
2001. We were living in. I probably went to Evol's house.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Plus,
I was in Hollywood at the time, and that's when I used to go to. There was a Hooters nearby.
Yeah.
That would play the WWF pay-per-views on the TVs, and that was one of those. I forget which one. One of those was where I was like 2 seats down at the bar.
From The Miz, right?
And we were literally the only people at the bar.
Yeah.
And The Miz was 2 seats down.
Yeah,
it was before he got into the WWF.
Because I remember I went to Yankee Doodles a couple times to watch pay-per-views there. They'd do that. And I went to Evol's house a couple times too. But by and large, I didn't really watch a ton of pay-per-views back then because I was broke. So it's fun. We enjoy it.
Oh, I love it. I'm a big history buff. I keep on watching this show. I'll watch it over and over again. There's this great show called America in Color on the Smithsonian Channel, which it's awesome they have a Smithsonian channel.
That's great.
And they do a really good job colorizing a bunch of old black and white footage.
That's cool.
So it's really cool.
As long as it's well done, it's cool.
I love that. So yeah, when it's bad, it's hard to watch. I love watching old pay-per-views. I'm glad that we sort of found a format and a formula that could work for us on a once a month basis.
Yep.
We could do. I like doing the research, the behind the scenes stuff, like listening to a podcast, reading a couple issues of the Wrestling Observer. To me, I like that. Cody Miles fixed the document. He said it's 237 unique names.
Okay.
237 people under.
It's interesting with them signing basically everybody now. Mm-hmm. They only have 70 more roster members than they did in 2001.
Yeah. Yeah. But then in 2001, it was WCW, ECW.
Oh, I know.
All the big companies.
Yeah, I know. It's interesting.
So, yeah, it is interesting. Anyways, want to say thanks to everybody for hanging out with us.
Much.
This is going up tomorrow on Saturday.
Yes.
So this is the last. What do we have? So on Sunday we have Matt Chat.
Correct.
Christmas Eve we have
Friendo Awards in the morning, and then as soon as the West Coast feed of Raw ends, our Raw recap because we were there here in town when they did it.
Yeah.
And then Christmas Day, I believe, is a count out. 10 wrestlers who had the best 2018.
Yeah, so we're going to have some for you every day through the holidays.
Yes.
However, this is our last live public live stream before then. So thank you all. We'll see you guys next week. And until then, we'll talk to you later.
Happy holidays, everybody. Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays.
Bye.